Hi and welcome to Knockhill for round 4, 5 and 6 of the BRSCC Mazda SuperCup Championship.
We have a lot of potential championship winners here. Starting high up on the grid, it's over to Andy McEwan to take you through the race.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, cars lining up on the grid ahead of the first race of the weekend here from Knockhill, and here is how that grid looks. It's Luke Herbert and Aidan Hills on row 1, ahead of Carl Garnett and championship leader Jack Harding on the second row. Another race winner at Silverstone last time out was James Baldwin. He's alongside Steve Roberts on the third row, ahead of Johnny Greensmith and Colin Bysout continuing his form in the opening round. Nick Dunn and Simon Baldwin round out the top 10, ahead of Will Stevenson and Lewis Carter, and Sam Tatler, Alec Lyndsay, Darren Stapleton and Jack Sycamore down on the 8th row of the grid. 9, Gary Townsend and James Kell, whilst Christian White is down on row 10 with Tom Parker, and it's Alex Kingdom, Mark Swarbrick, Nick Rutter and George Grant on the 12th row of this mammoth grid. So it is going to be a very busy trio of races here around the tight, twisty Knockhill circuit being run in reverse direction. The first time ever that Mazda MX-5 SuperCup have competed on this layout at Knockhill. The red lights go on, they go out now. We're away and racing, and who will get the best start on the run down towards the hairpin for the first time? Aidan Hills trying to get his car across in front of Luke Herbert, but Herbert has the inside line, and that should prevail, but we don't really know what to expect with this layout of racing here at Knockhill. As they turn left, it will be Herbert that leads the way. There's Colin Bysout trying to go around the outside of James Baldwin. They end up in the dirt. Does anyone else end in the gravel coming out of turn 1? Doesn't look like they do. On board with Bysout now as he rockets down towards the left-hander at Clark's. That's Johnny Greensmith on our left, and I think Steve Roberts directly in front of us. Johnny Greensmith trying to recover from a slightly loaded grid position down in 7th. The man who arrives here 3rd in the points, despite not having won last time out. Oh, and 2 cars off in the barriers, or 1 car in the barriers, and 1 rejoining, and the car that's in the barriers went in fairly heavily, and that's Darren Stapleton, I'm afraid, car number 44, who has gone off on the first lap. Leading group, though, make their way towards the end of lap number 1, on board with Colin Bysout, looking back at Simon Baldwin there, the stepbrother of James Baldwin, who's running a bit further up the road, as we leap over the hill there onto the pit straight once more. It's a short, sharp lap, and if anything, it's even more spectacular in this reverse direction. The only question is, where are the overtaking places likely to be? This is probably the most likely place that you'll see people making a move. No one in the lead group attempting one, but further back Nick Dunn there looking to the inside of Lewis Carter. They will run side by side through the corner, side by side out of the corner, but Lewis has that momentum on the outside line, and that's something I think we'll see quite often down in that corner. Just because you're on the inside line on the way in doesn't necessarily mean that's the quickest line on the way out, and in fact on the outside line that's quite often where the momentum is. So Blake Baldwin is into 3rd place now. Has he got time to chase down the leaders? Probably not, because we're running into the final minute or so of the race now. Aidan Hills just that 3 or 4 car lengths back now from Luke Herbert, so not really close enough to attack for the race lead for the time being. Luke, you sense, has got this under control. Aidan Hills will be fairly happy with a 2nd. That would be his best finish of the season so far. He had a 3rd in race 2 at Silverstone last time out, did Aidan, who is still pushing on though. He gets out wide over the dirt coming out of Clark's. Got to be careful doing that because you can get pinged for exceeding the track limits. Really launches into the air there through the chicane, does Aidan. Herbert appears to have this one more or less under control. Of course, that's me putting the curse of the commentator on him now, which I'm sure he'll thank me for, but it's been a faultless performance thus far for the reigning champion. And he comes out of the final corner, back across the start-finish line, and possibly onto the last lap. Yes, last lap board is held aloft, so 1 more lap around the Knockhill anti-clockwise circuit they have. Don't think Blake Baldwin is going to catch these 2, so we may have our podium finishers pretty much settled. Can Jack Harding get back onto terms with Johnny Greensmith, I wonder? Johnny's done a good job here, though, to fight his way through from 7th to 4th on a circuit that everyone's been complaining he can't overtake at, so Johnny's done a pretty good job of that in this race, as he just tries to continue with that consistent performance. Well, Aidan Hills certainly hasn't settled for 2nd, has he? He was really pushing through Clark's there. Both he and Blake Baldwin in 3rd place, running wide onto the dirt. But Aidan Hills, who was very spectacular to watch back at Silverstone with some of his overtaking, equally spectacular here. And he's just driving around on his own on this final lap, and he's still driving sideways, absolutely on the limit. Luke Herbert, though, is about to come through and take his first victory in 2018, and who would have guessed it would take him until the 4th race of the year to do it? He flashes across the start-finish line, though. He sees the checkered flag, and he wins round number 4 of the Mazda MX-5 SuperCup. 2nd goes to Aidan Hills. 3rd goes the way of a hard-charging James Baldwin, and he will take the championship lead with that as well, after an aggressive move bold move, but I think a fair move on Jack Harding. So Herbert wins it from Aidan Hills by 1.8 seconds at the end, over Blake Baldwin in third, Greensmith fourth, and Jack Harding fifth. Carl Garnett is sixth ahead of Steve Roberts seventh, then Colin Bysouth, Simon Baldwin, and Nick Dunn held on to that hard-fought 10th place. Sam Tatler is 11th ahead of Lewis Carter and Jack Stickmore. Christian White, who worked his way up to 14th, ahead of Gary Townsend. Then Alex King, James Kell, Mark Swarbrick and Alan Lyndsay. And then we have on finishers Tom Parker, Will Stevenson, George Grant, Darren Stapleton, and Nick Rutter was excluded post-race.
Luke, congratulations on your victory today at Knockhill. A very tough race, and yet again shows how close the Mazda MX-5 SuperCup is. Two questions for you. How much of that race were you spent looking in your rearview mirror, and what were your feelings when the yellow flag came out?
Yeah, I sort of broke a little gap at the start from Aidan, my teammate, so it's quite a good qualifying for us. And then the safety car come out, and I thought, right, all I've got to do is get a good jump, and I am quite good at safety car starts, and I managed to maintain my gap over the line.
Congratulations, Aidan, second place. That seemed like quite a close battle towards the end. What were you feeling?
Well, the beginning of the race was going pretty well. I felt like I had the pace on Luke. But once the safety car come out, I think he got his head together a bit more, and he definitely pulled a bit of a gap towards the end, but I hit a curb too hard through the chicane and moved the back wheel, so I couldn't really fight with the last few laps.
James, tough race out there, but you made it through from your starting position on the grid, made a couple of places. What were your thoughts about racing here? It was a really tight race.
It's a really tight circuit to race on, but you know, we started fifth from the grid, managed to make up 2 places, but it's so difficult to progress around here. Last time we raced here was 2011 or 12, but the other way around, and it seemed a bit easier to overtake the other way around.
We've had some rain here overnight at Knockhill, and we're about ready to go out for race 2 of the BRSCC SuperCup Mazdas. We've got Luke Herbert in P1, so Andy, we'll hand it back to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Lyndsay. Cars lining up on the grid ahead of this second race of the weekend. Grid this one decided by the second fastest times from qualifying yesterday, which means that it's Herbert on pole again, but this time with Carl Garnett alongside him, ahead of James Blake Baldwin and Aidan Hills row 2. Jack Harding and Steve Roberts making the third row, ahead of Colin Bysouth and Nick Dunn. Down on row 4. Row 5 is where we find Johnny Greensmith. He should be on spot 4 moving forward, and Simon Baldwin alongside as well. Then it's Lewis Carter and Will Stevenson, ahead of Alan Lyndsay, Sam Tatler, Jackson Moore and Gary Townsend. Tom Parker is next on the 9th row alongside Christian White, ahead of James Kell, Alex King, Mark Swarbrick, Nick Rutter and George Grant right at the back with Darren Stapleton company. Darren, of course, didn't even make it halfway around the first lap in race 1 before he ended up going backwards into the barriers. The car you can see there at the back of the grid has now been fixed. It's not quite in showing condition at the rear end, but it works, and he will be trying to move forward. So the 5-second board is up, the red lights go on. It's Carl Garnett on the outside of row number 1, looking to try and make a good start on the run down towards the hairpin. He's away from the line decently, but he's on the outside line going into the braking zone, and this is always fraught with danger. Blake Baldwin's up the inside of him, Aidan Hills is going to the outside, and Carl Garnett gets swamped into the braking zone of the hairpin. Is this all going to work? 3 abreast through the hairpin, bit of paint is traded, but I think they all get through in more or less one piece. On board with Colin Bysouth now, as he makes his way down the railway straight. That's Steve Roberts, that is, chopping aggressively across in front of us as we hit the brakes now. A bit more contact, quite a lot of contact in fact under braking there, as 3 or 4 cars concertinaed together. Jack Harding launches up the inside of Carl Garnett now, whose race is already unravelling. He's already down to 4th, and this will be down to 5th if Harding can find a way through. Side by side into the chicane, hold your breath, and Harding does go through. Fantastic bit of overtaking there from Jack Harding, and he's up into 4th position. Garnett down to 5th, Roberts up the inside trying to find a way through into the left-hander but can't do it. On board with Bysouth, looking back at Johnny Greensmith. Johnny Greensmith started down in 9th position in this one, having started 8th yesterday. He finished 4th. What sort of progress can he make in race number 2? He needs to try and make progress because he slipped now to 10 points behind the championship leader after race 1, level 3rd with the race leader Luke Herbert, who's continuing to fight his way back in the championship picture. Aidan Hills round the outside of Blake Baldwin again at the hairpin, but that leaves him vulnerable to attack from Jack Harding now, who got up the inside and will try to take advantage of this to move his way through. Wheel to wheel down the straight towards Clark's. Harding on the inside, but Hills on the outside had the momentum and holds on to the position. On board again with Bysouth, looking back at Johnny Greensmith to our left. I think that's Carl Garnett. And Colin Bysouth on the inside line, clobbers the curb, drifts a bit wide. Oh, there's a bit of contact there, isn't there? And as they make the way out of the corner, oh, more contact, and Garnett is off. Carl Garnett is off, and bang into the tyre wall. Oh dear, well, Carl Garnett, a golden opportunity for some good points starting on the front row of the grid, and unfortunately that has not worked out well. Here's a replay from outside, bit of contact there with Bysouth, gets him sideways. Greensmith makes it 3 wide. Well, that was a real Mazda sandwich, and there just was not room for all 3 of them to get out of the corner together, and unfortunately it is Carl Garnett who ends his race in the barriers. So back with Bysouth now as he makes his way over the hill. He survived that moment somehow, despite being piggy in the middle there between Garnett on his outside and Johnny Greensmith on the inside. Greensmith really gaining from that. Oh, Bysouth's off! Colin Bysouth off again into the gravel trap down at the hairpin, and the car just never stopped. What on earth happened there? They might have caught a damp patch of the road. We have had, as Lyndsay mentioned pre-race, quite a bit of overnight rain. The majority of the track is dry, but it could be a bit damp offline, and maybe if you caught a damp patch on the braking or hit the curb, maybe, which will be very slippery, of course, that could have just sent him straight off into the barriers. But that was a strange one. Well, already a very dramatic second encounter here for the Mazda MX-5 SuperCup. Hands out of cockpits, which tells me that we might be about to go safety car, which is not the news that Luke Herbert wanted to hear. Yes, we do go safety car. That is why. It's because of Colin Bysouth's car down in the gravel trap at turn 1. But Luke Herbert had this, well, that must have been nearly a 2-second lead that he built up over Blake Baldwin in second place, and that will now be absolutely eradicated instantly by the emergence of the safety car. Colin Bysouth's car should be able to get out of the gravel fairly easily. Here's a replay externally of the, well, Hills and Blake Baldwin was actually side by side there a bit further up the road, and Jack Harding was trying to get up the inside, and then screech of tyres, clatter of gravel. Thankfully not the smack of a car hitting the tyre wall. He managed to avoid getting any damage done there, did Colin Bysouth, but that will be the end of his race. So the lights are now out on the safety car. We're going racing again this time, and Jack Harding is the man with the momentum at the moment, isn't he? He made that move on James Blake Baldwin not long before the restart. He now latches onto the tail of Luke Herbert, in fact almost pushing Luke down the hill there. They were so close. He's trying to stay right on his toes here so as not to give away any sort of advantage to Luke. He wants to be right in the slipstream, going down straight into the hairpin this time. Luke again steps on it quite early, builds the momentum up all the way up the hill and through Dufferson onto the pit straight again, pop back into sight, and it's a car length, if that, between the top 2. So good job there from Jack Harding to stay with the race leader and come over the top of the hill. Herbert will surely have to defend the inside line, and he does, as Harding goes to the outside, but Harding daren't go to the outside, because if he does that, he leaves the door wide open for James Blake Baldwin to just slip up the inside of him. So in the end, it's a bit of a stalemate situation. It's Aidan Hills again, though, who is a man on a mission. He had a big look to the inside of James Blake Baldwin there in towards the hairpin. James is just about able to hang on to that podium position and carry some good speed down the railway straight, but Aidan Hills taking full advantage of that safety car, meaning that he's closed right back in on the podium positions, and he wants to try and get himself through into a podium position if possible. Leader runs a bit wide, but it's Harding in second who's having to go defensive here. This is allowing Herbert to pull away again as 2 cars both try and find their way past Jack Harding. First of all, James Blake Baldwin, and then the blue, orange and black car, number 8 of Aidan Hills, and Blake Baldwin is sideways in front of him there as he hits the brakes into the next left-hander. Back up the hill they go again. Steve Roberts, Simon Baldwin and Johnny Greensmith also want to be a part of the podium right onto the tail of the race leaders. So there'll be another opportunity to get the slipstream here for Jack Harding, and another chance to perhaps look to the outside line, because you'd imagine Herbert will defend the inside, but James Blake Baldwin is at the moment not a threat to Jack Harding, so Jack can sort of afford to drive wherever he wants to try and find a way past the number 1 car in front. There just isn't the room though, so there's a bit of a tap in the tail maybe as they go through the corner. Back down the straight they go towards Clark's again. Herbert still hanging on, and I haven't seen any sign yet of a last lap board, so it's possible we'll get one more lap after this one as well, which is good news for us, because we get to enjoy this ultra close quarters racing even more. Harding is closer at this part of the circuit than he's ever been before, and this is the part of the track where he's pretty quick, so can he perhaps build an attack down through the chicane heading towards this next braking zone. He's certainly close, and Herbert knows it, so he just moved across to the middle of the road there, took a slightly tighter line through the left-hand kink into the braking zone, just to deter Harding from having a go. These two really pulling away, though, from the group of cars behind. Lots of curb usage there for Luke Herbert as he leaps out onto the pit straight and across the start-finish line once again. But no, there's cheering from the pit wall. The last lap board must have gone out, and the checkered flag now goes out for the second time this weekend. It's 2 in from 2 in Scotland for Luke Herbert. He is victorious. So it is a race victory for Luke Herbert. Second place goes the way of Jack Harding. Then James Baldwin in third. Aidan Hills is fourth. Ahead of Steve Roberts fifth. Then Simon Baldwin. Johnny Greensmith down in seventh. Ahead of Jack Sycamore, Gary Townsend, and Sam Tatler. Then it's Nick Dunn, Alex King, Will Stevenson, and James Kell. Then Alec Lyndsay, Lewis Carter, Darren Stapleton, and Nick Rutter, Mark Swarbrick, and George Grant round out the top 20. Tom Parker did finish 2 laps down. And we lost Christian White, Colin Weissau, and Carl Garnett from that one.
Luke, congratulations on winning first again. That was quite a close battle between you and Jack. There was barely a second between you.
Yeah, I mean, I got the run on James for the first few laps, pulled a gap, safety car. He's back on me, so it's like, you know, it's so demoralising when you've pulled such a gap.
Jack, that was a superb move on James. A little bit of payback from race 1?
Yeah, exactly. We got robbed a little bit of a podium yesterday. I was quite comfortably sat in third. Missed a gear coming up the hill, and then James was on me, and then obviously we had a bit of a touch, and I went flying through the gravel. So yeah, a little bit of payback.
Congratulations, James, in third position again. How did you feel?
A little bit frustrated that we started in third and finished in third, so I suppose that's one positive. The negative was that we were in second. Jack did a cracking move up the inside, same as what I did to him yesterday. So it's a bit of touche scenario.
Well, the cars are lining up ready to go out for the third and final round of the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 SuperCup. Pole position, Sycamore, and this is because of the reverse grid.
Yes, what we do is we actually pull a ball out of a bag in a sense, and basically we switch it around, so it's not always going to be the leaders on pole. So it should be quite interesting.
Exactly, so it's over to Andy to go through the rest of the grid.
Thanks very much, guys. Yep, cars are on the grid ahead of this third and final race of the weekend. It was the top 8 that were reversed from the results of race 1, meaning that it's pole position for Jack Sycamore alongside Johnny Greensmith on the front row. Simon Baldwin and Steve Roberts make up row 2, ahead of Aidan Hills and James Baldwin. Jack Harding is on row 7, along with double race victor this weekend, Luke Herbert, 8th on the grid this time, so it's a real overtaking to get done. Row 5 for Gary Townsend and Sam Tatler. Nick Dunn and Alex King make up row 6, ahead of Will Stevenson and James Kell, then Alec Lyndsay and Lewis Carter, who was top 10 runner in race 1 but slipped back toward the end of race 2. Then Darren Stapleton, Nick Rutter, Mark Swarbrick and George Grant, ahead of Tom Parker, with Christian White, first bar 2 non-finishers in race 2. Also non-finishers were Colin Weissau and Carl Garnett after they made contact, of course, in the first race. And not only will they be working their way through the field, but they'll be doing it together and backing each other as well, with possibly a score to settle. So the red lights go on, and for the final time this weekend at Knockhill, we're away and racing in the Mazda MX-5 SuperCup. And who gets the jump from the front row of the grid? You put your money on Greensmith, wouldn't you? And that's exactly what happens. Johnny Greensmith sweeps across in front of Jack Sycamore and takes the lead down towards the hairpin, but it's 3 abreast further back. Look at Steve Roberts right round the outside of everybody to try and get second place. If he doesn't run out of road, that might just work. Well, he doesn't get second, but he will be third. There's Carl Garnett exploring the scenery very wide down in the first corner, and he will therefore already drop back behind his sparring partner from race 1, Colin Weissau, who we are on board with now. But look at that, a roadblock in front of us. On the left there is Tom Parker. In the middle, I think, is the 35 car of Alex King, and another car joining in the fun as well. It's very busy indeed as they go down through Clark's for the first time, but it's Greensmith that leads the way. It's Sycamore in second, it's Roberts in third, Aidan Hills already up to 4th from 5th on the grid. Good start for him. Then it's 5th place for one of the Baldwins, possibly that was Simon Baldwin, I think, rather than James Blake Baldwin. Further back there's Will Stevenson, who was a non-finisher in our first race of the weekend. Yes, it is Simon Baldwin there, ahead of Sam Tatler, and then James Blake Baldwin and Luke Herbert, not really making the progress they'd have liked. There's a car sideways there. Yes, it was James King who might just save that, but that was the mother of all tank slappers coming out of the final turn. Leaders down the hill, and look at this, Roberts again trying the outside line. This is audacious, but he's sticking with it. This time he does get shown the edge of the road though, runs out into the gravel, and so Aidan Hills gets alongside him and might even be able to start challenging Jack Sycamore in front. So Aidan Hills is really making some good progress here. 2 wheels on the grass for Aidan, he can't do that. He really is one of the most spectacular racers out there, Aidan Hills. Very exciting to watch indeed, but sometimes there's a gap that is always going to close, and Aidan realised that then and had to back off the throttle. So he settles in line in third, but he's already making more progress up the order than some of his sparring partners from the first two races, the likes of James Blake Baldwin, Luke Herbert, Jack Harding. They're all still mired down towards the tail end of the top 10, but Aidan Hill's already in the podium positions. Good opportunity here for Aidan to try and get some championship points back, but he really wants to try and get past Jack Sycamore as quickly as possible. He carries much more speed out to the final corner, gets himself up alongside as they streak across the start-finish line. His nose is ahead as they cross the line. The whole car is ahead, in fact, before they cross the start-finish line, and he moves his way through into second place. That was all about building momentum up through that final sequence of corners. Where will Luke Herbert be in all of this? Well, he could yet win the race because he's still right on the boot lid of the number 2 car in front of him. Aidan Hills again is the one going to the outside here of Jack Harding. But even if you get round the outside, you're always going to get pushed to the edge of the road, and that's what happens, and Hills is off again. Oh, what a shame for Aidan. Well, you can only try and go around the outside of someone so many times into that hairpin before they shove you out into the gravel, and this time around, that's what Jack Harding did, and so Simon Baldwin and Steve Roberts both get themselves back ahead of Aidan Hills, and all of that hard work is undone and needs to be done again. But unfortunately for Aidan, he's fast running out of time, because I believe this might be the final lap of the race. They make their way back down through the chicane, and it looks as though Johnny Greensmith might just be able to hang on. Oh, there's almost room up the inside, but no, nothing doing for Herbert in second. Greensmith runs wide over the curb. It's going to be a bit of a drag race out of the final corner here, and they're so close together, and the slipstream takes such an effect here that you can possibly draw alongside before the start-finish line. Down towards the start-finish line they go. Is there a checkered flag for them this time? No, they're going to get one more lap out of this by the looks of it, and so Greensmith will have to go very, very, very defensive down on the brakes in towards the hairpin. Herbert's not really close enough though, and didn't dare take to the outside line. Jack Harding does though, and really gets the switchback manoeuvre. Two wheels on the gravel there as he turns so tight on the exit of the hairpin, trying to get the overlap on James Blake Baldwin. Behind you can see Aidan Hills coming back at Steve Roberts as they run, I think, side by side down to Clark's. Yes, they do. Hills is on the outside line though. That's surely never going to work. Oh, bit of a lock up for Roberts though. He runs out a bit wide, but he sort of ushers Aidan Hills out wide with him. So status quo remains, and there is no change in the order. Look at that, I will never get tired of that shot of them appearing over the top of the hill at the chicane at such speeds, sideways in mid-air. It really is one of the most spectacular circuits in the country, and I think the drivers have all thoroughly enjoyed running it in its reverse direction. They come back out of the final corner though once again, and this time surely we will see the checkered flag flying for Johnny Greensmith, who heads towards the start-finish line, and yet there it is. Johnny Greensmith finally takes another race victory in the Mazda MX-5 SuperCup to put himself firmly into title contention. A brilliantly judged lights the flag victory for Johnny, but that makes it sound a heck of a lot easier than it actually was. He wins from Herbert in second, Blake Baldwin third, and Jack Harding fourth. The top four separated by 6/10 of a second only in Mazda MX-5 racing. Fifth is Simon Baldwin, sixth for Steve Roberts, and Aidan Hills down in seventh. Disappointed with that. Then it's Sam Tatler, Jack Sycamore and Lewis Carter rounding out the top 10. Then it's Carl Garnett, Colin Bice, Southwick, Dunn, Will Stevenson and Alec Livesley in 15th. Then James Kell, Darren Stapleton, Christian White, Tom Parker and Nick Rutter, ahead of Gary Townsend and Alex King. The only retirement was George Grant. Mark Swarbrick, unfortunately, failed to make the start.
John, it's been a while since we've been able to have a chat with you. Congratulations on your first win of the season, but it was certainly hard fought.
Oh yeah, definitely. I just wanted to win this year. Weren't expecting it this weekend, but that I'll take all day long. Hard work, especially with Luke and James coming up behind me, and Aidan who was pushing me most of the way as well, like, and that. So yeah, spot on it with that. Spot on.
Good to see you back on the top step, and looking forward to Brands.
Yeah, another challenge. It's going to be a short circuit, so it's going to be tight. So I need to be qualifying a lot better than what I am doing at the minute. So I need to get my act together, pull my finger out.
Well, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Well, that wraps up the action from Knockhill for the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 SuperCup.
It has been a true testament to the Mazda driving standards here this weekend, and we hope you join us again in our next round at Brands Hatch.